Hello, Internet. Time for another random thing I have decided to do for Super Game Friends. We're going to play the Unicorn Overlord demo. Completely blind. I have not turned this demo on. I downloaded it as soon as I saw that there was a demo and then kept watching the rest of the Nintendo Direct Partners Showcase and some other stuff. But this is the thing I am most interested in out of all of it, for reasons I will get into, I suppose, in the demo, because obviously we've seen some of the gameplay, so I know the thing that is most interesting to me. So ignore Kirby squashed between two hyper violent games, and let's boot up Unicorn Overlord. Can't imagine there's going to be that much flashing in this game, but yeah, you get past the Atlas logo. Where's the logo I care about? Yes, Basic Escape. That's it now. Cryware. Come on. They usually have a really fancy logo. Yep, there it is. I am a big fan of Vanillaware. Have been since their first US releases on the PS2. Big fan. So a new game from them, no matter what, was pretty much a big deal for me. But, and I had an inkling from the very first announcement trailer. But then when we started seeing gameplay, it got kind of solidified that they were doing something that I was very happy to see. But we'll get to that. Oh shit! Your orb fell apart there. No, I don't think it was being pondered hard enough. Internet reference. Now, what's interesting, kind of upfront to me about Unicorn Overlord, is they had a very similar-ish game. Well, like not exactly, but somewhat similar-ish game on the PSP that never got released in the West, despite the fact it was made after Vanillaware had established themselves in the West. Oh, I cannot remember the name of it. Oh, now I feel bad. It got an English, like, ROM hack. ROM's not quite the right word, but it got an English fan translation really quickly, oddly enough. But it is also a, like, multiple color-coded, factions, Western fantasy, medieval setting, and you make a team out of generic units, travel around a world map, etc. The gameplay in that, however, the like battle system was kind of you could be forgiven for looking at this and looking at that like on screenshots or something and thinking it's exactly the same, but it's not. But that one was like the characters do exist on like a grid, but it's not like a big grid that you walk around on. Instead, the grid is just like unit placement and affects where attacks land and stuff. And then battles would play out as kind of more typical turn-based JRPG stuff. This looks like it's going to be doing something else. Like I said, we'll get to that. New game, let's go. I haven't actually been looking at the volume on OBS, so yeah, it just occurred to me. I don't know if okay, that looks like the game audio should be high enough. Hopefully not. Hopefully not making it hard to see me. I don't think it should be. Audio balancing, man. Holy crap. It's hard. There have been so many games coming out that are trying so hard to look like Vanillaware.
To where, I might ask? Nigh every last of Cornia's lords has forsaken us in favor of the traitor Valmor.
It's pretty funny. They're a company that's like, I think people want them to produce more games, but because their style is so elaborate and their games tend to be so chonky in terms of content, what's going on inside them, particularly narratively. They can't just pump games out. Like, not if you want the games to be good, not if you want them to be, you know, meaningfully vanillaware games, so.
And pray safeguard the ring of the unicorn as well.
The Ring of the Unicorn, okay. That's another one of the many item and item sounding names from vanillaware history that we can add to the heap. Right, you know, you wear the Ring of the Unicorn while you're wearing the dragon's crown.
Mother,
Uh-oh.
are they coming for us?
Also, do you punch people? You've just got, like, 2 shields on your arms and no weapon. I hope she does. That'd be awesome.
Selene, I say this not as your mother, but as your queen. From here forth, you're to treat Joseph's command as though it were spoken directly with my tongue.
I was expecting that character's name to be pronounced Yosef.
Of course, but is there something amiss? My faith and more lies with you, Joseph. I only pray it is enough. Farewell, and may the heavens guide you.
I am not going to say goodbye to my son. It has to be dramatic this way. Dramatic in a different way.
Just standing there, Joseph. Aren't you going to help her?
Nope.
Would that I were able, my prince.
I like that he does actually have like a head shake animation.
We've not
That is that's vanillaware. Lots of little subtle animations. Ooh. Are we gonna go straight into the demo battle? Bar all exits to the city. The queen is not to leave these walls alive. Damn, she has a sword. Our great general reduced to little more than a base traitor. You'll find my head not so easily parted from my shoulders, Valmore. I wonder if you can say the same. She just got a big sword. I was really hoping she would punch people. Okay, this is going to be tutorial time. And hopefully this will be what it looks like it is. Move the cursor. Select all objects. Command them to move across the battle stage. Make them march towards Val. Oh, is the game just going to force me to march towards Valmore? Okay, so select. Let's move. Can I? Nah, the game won't let me. Alright. Yeah, tutorial. Oh, I see. She's going to have to go around and through this minor group anyway. So. Okay. This is... They're all standing still, but... Okay, yeah. Alright, let's see combat. Engage in combat. Organize. Interesting. Interesting. Unit details. Let me see here. Yes, show me my details. Show me the deets. What do we got here? We've got Renault, Great Knight, Gailey, Sergeant, Alcina, Sorceress, Elenia, a Valkyria, and Hodrick, Legionnaire. And yeah, the dude with the big shield standing in front of the magic caster. That makes sense. Presuming he does what... Okay. Let's just look at the battle. Let's see what happens. I gotta know for sure.
On your guard.
Ooh, that's neat.
Does this suit you?
Guaranteed critical.
You'll see no harm.
Okay. So it's animating slightly differently, but... Jesus, that guaranteed critical. That seems like that's probably going to be real good.
Victory is ours.
Okay, yeah. So this is Ogre Battle. I don't know if anybody who might ever watch this knows Ogre Battle at all. There was only 3 games. Not Tactics Ogre, which was more popular, but Ogre Battle, which was better. Nah, I mean, whatever. Uh, same team, actually. But yeah, Ogre Battle was, let's see, there was Super Nintendo Ogre Battle March of the Black Queen, N64 Ogre Battle Person of Lordly Caliber, and the third one that never got released in the US, which was Ogre Battle for the Neo Geo Pocket. It's called like Prince of Zenobia, I think is the translation of the title. Something like that. I could be wrong about that. It's like the title, the full title is something like Ogre Battle Gaiden Prince of Zenobia or something to that effect. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that. But this gameplay is unique to Ogre Battle. I've never seen another game do their thing. The closest is a game that I do not like called Soul Nomad and the World Eaters for the PlayStation 2. And it only borrows the way that the characters are like laid out on a grid, and then when battle is performed, I'm not pressing any buttons, by the way. You can see there's no like menus or anything. It's all about your team structure, and then the characters all take their turns based on speed stats, etc. You and the enemy. In this one, it actually looks like you and the enemy do actually, the individual characters go based on speed stat across both team sides, whereas in Ogre Battle games, it would be like your team would all go and then their team would kind of all go, but it all played out automatically. There was no like selecting individual attacks or anything like that. Your position in the grid dictated like what the unit would do in battle and such like that. And then the map, and that was something that Soul Nomad copied, although not as well. But then the big thing was that they didn't use in Soul Nomad is that the map movement in Ogre Battle is real time. It's not turn-based, and it's not on a grid, as you can see here. Although it looks like here it's kind of like they're moving across lanes and stuff. You probably can't, like, force them off those lanes. I don't know. It depends. This is just the tutorial, so, you know, who knows. In Ogre Battle games, you can move the units all over the map in any which direction you want. They'll, like, generally try to follow what paths, like streets or whatever. And I know I'm talking over the story, but like it's a demo. We're not really here for the narrative currently. Zenoira. Sounds similar to the Zenobia name I was trying to remember. So in those games, they would actually like hide things. They would hide things in like in weird places on the map and stuff. In actually the tutorial stage of the very first game on the Super Nintendo, you could find a hidden city in the like upper right corner of the map if you sent a unit all the way up there. That doesn't look like there's anything there when you're just looking at the map, but because you can send the units anywhere and whatever, they'd hide stuff. So you'd go up there and find this extra city. I don't remember what you got out of it exactly, but you might have recruited an extra character that you wouldn't otherwise get. But those games are great. Those games are fantastic. Ogre Battle for the N64, Person of Lordly Caliber, is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. I've only played it twice. It's a long game. I don't tend to replay RPGs as often as I might replay other things, but because, for obvious reasons. But it is a really, really good game. And I have just been crying for anybody, to do the Ogre Battle style of gameplay. Because, like I said, the only game that's gotten close to it is Soul Nomad. Oh, no, I tell a lie. Soul Nomad borrowed the combat, but not the map movement. And there was a game that borrowed the map movement, but not the combat. And it was a Yu-Gi-Oh game. I almost forgot about it. I'm so glad I remembered that all of a sudden. It was that Falsebound Kingdom? Or was it... No, it wasn't Falsebound Kingdom. It was, Oh, there was those two weird-ass Yu-Gi-Oh games. Back in the day. Falsebound Kingdom and something else that I can't remember the name of now. and one of them used straight up just ogre battle map movement, but then battles were like normal JRPG style battles. But it was all with Yu-Gi-Oh characters and Yu-Gi-Oh monsters. Oh my god, I'm so glad I randomly remembered that.
Stood unshrinking as the shield to her son Elaine's safe flight, and mustering what meager forces remained by her side, she rallied a defense as valorous as it was damned.
Nice. But yeah, nobody's done just full-on ogre battle.
Fell to her faithful knight,
I guess technically this isn't either. If it's if all the movement is purely
to assemble on the thorned isle of Palavia, in the holy
in lane paths, but I could imagine that they just were locking up how we moved in the tutorial because
donned a second name.
that was just there to show the combat and do story stuff.
Onslaught the
Like really, that wasn't even a tutorial, but.
but struggle against.
And yeah, the ogre battle games, if you don't know, were also like
Each realm's endeavors fell in vain.
medieval fantasy kind of deal. Very similar, Empire trying to take over everything kind of stuff. But there's dark secrets behind it all. And actually, the title of the games, Ogre Battle, is in universe, is like a myth, a legend about hell basically coming to Earth, and at that time when the forces of hell come to Earth would be known as the Ogre Battle.
Which fell upon deaf ears, night after unseen
And so a lot of the games, at least I believe it happens in the SNES game, it definitely happens in the N64 game, the plot kind of pivots at some point and is like, you have to try to prevent the ogre battle from occurring. If the underworld rises up to the surface, like, we're fucked. So that game had a lot of endings from what I recall. 12? And is it whoops? Switch. It had a really crazy
Suppose I should be getting back.
Jesus Christ. Vanillaware. Alignment system known as the Chaos Rating, which both individual units had it, but also the player had an invisible tracker of that all game that you didn't get told about, or like if you played the game blind, you wouldn't even know that was a thing the player has tracking them the whole game until after the game was over the first time and after the credits, and then the game tells you your chaos rating, which goes between 0 and 100. Gotta love that blue-red imagery. I'm fully expecting Lex will betray us at some point in the story. Maybe not. Who knows?
Train for the rest of our lives, and even then, never managed to best Joseph. Weird to think he's back on the mainland now, finally making that Liberation Army thing a reality, huh?
He says that's so cavalier. Oh, that Liberation Army thing. Yeah.
The people of Cornea are suffering, Lex, crying out for whatever help will hear their pleas.
Help! I have a plea. I'm off screen.
The crown I feel is mine. That, and I owe it to my mother to see them safe. Well, yeah, but Zenoira's got the whole world in the palm of their hand. How are we
They've got the whole wide world in their hands.
But the heavens will surely favor those who stand justice.
I was hoping that line was something more like the earth may be theirs, but they cannot
Just
grasp the heavens or something like that.
I'll be with you every step of the way. Thank you, Lex. You know I can't do this without you.
That line just makes me think even more so that Lex is going to end up betraying us later.
Anyway, that's enough training for today. We're gonna miss lunch if we don't get moving. I suppose it is that time.
I can tell by the ocean.
You see something out there?
Ooh,
It's a ship.
a boat.
Looks like they're flying Zenoira colors too.
Uh-oh.
This island is no longer safe. We have to tell the others.
We have to scare everyone.
You head for the cathedral. I'll make sure the town knows what's coming.
We don't actually know what's coming, just that it's a Zenoiran boat.
Seal off the harbor and do it quick. Not a soul gets off
Okay,
this
well,
island under our watch.
thank you, game, for stealing away my nuance so quickly. And, okay, I was just...
All soldiers,
nope, that's a generic,
Dispatch the vanguard to the
because,
cathedral.
yeah, we saw... Wait a minute.
And remember,
But the name Hodrick, that was the character in our group was named that.
understood, sir.
So he's betrayed us. Oh, I wonder if we'll find out later that, like, part of the reason she lost the fight to Valmor in that prologue section was because Hodrick actually betrayed her in the middle of the fight or something.
The meager sustenance to nourish our fragile bodies in the times to come. Guide our lost souls on the path to salvation. Shine down your radiant
Lost
light
Souls,
upon us,
isn't that a game?
for darkness looms thick through all corners of Thevrith. Such is my request as your humble servant. In the name of the guardian unicorn and that of the Holy Mother. Is that you, Elaine?
I wonder
How many times must
what
I ask
the
you not to stomp around in the
the decision was for
What is the meaning of this?
making Unicorn the, like, central
Seems we're the first
theme of the like, religion or whatever in this universe.
the girl dies, and our heads will roll too.
Such depravity will not go unpunished. Not in the house of the Heavenly Father.
Yeah? Then you'd best get to praying.
She's fast.
Not as fast as us. Scarlet, are you hurt?
Only a little shaken, that's all. What's happening to
God
us all?
damn it, Vanillaware. I thought you got better about this. Damn it. Switch! Stop doing that.
And
The last game Vanillaware made,
Crown Prince?
13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Or Aegis Rim 13 Sentinels? Oh god. I can't remember which order the title is in. It was a sci-fi game, which was really surprising. They, Vanillaware mostly just does fantasy. And by mostly, I mean 13 Sentinels is the only game they've done that isn't a fantasy setting. Everything else has either been this style of Western fantasy or, like, Japanese fantasy.
Hold on. Where's Lex?
He went ahead to alert the town. We best find him and get to the harbor.
Indeed. But first,
Yeah,
this belongs to
I was saying that Lex will probably will betray us later because he's red. But I suppose the girl's red. I already forgot her name.
Queen Elenia wished for you
The
to
Ring
have
of the
it.
Unicorn.
In truth, I had intended to wait till signs of age played more deeply across your face. But we no longer have such luxury. I have the utmost faith you'll see it secured.
A keepsake from my mother.
You gotta love when they try to write characters to be more old-fashioned or something. When signs of age play across your face.
Now, let us
No, not. I was hoping that, you know, you'd be a bit older before this happened. No, when signs of age played across your face. But we like it. We like the flowery poetry. Battle stages are the fields of combat where allied enemies wage war in real time. Each battle stage has victory conditions that must be fulfilled. No shit. Yeah, so this is just like the over map. Or over map. The overworld map. There we go. Handpost, think about the order to deploy. So, okay, no, so this is a battle map. Never mind. This is not the overworld. Because I was thinking this was like... Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, well, let's just do stuff. And I keep trying to, like, deduce things before I've played the game. Yeah, okay, so then... That's neat. So you can, like, place their starting position within a distance of where they're deploying from. In the Ogre Battle games, they would just sort of appear on top of wherever they were being deployed from. So if you deployed a bunch of units all at once, you just have this this just stack of sprites there.
Today will be ours.
All right, now what? Deploying unit consumes 1 valor point. Oh, so in Ogre Battle, you just paid money. Money was used for lots of I said lots of things. It was used for, the things you'd expect. Recruiting units, buying equipment. But then it was also for deploying the troops into battle stages. So you had to be mindful of your money. And it looks like they're not using money for this, which is interesting. I wonder if your Valor can go above a maximum of 10 in the full game. And they're replenished by defeating enemies, liberating towns and fortresses more. I'm glad to see liberating towns and fortresses. Liberating or capturing towns in Ogre Battle games was a big damn deal. And the reason why I say liberating or capturing is that was a factor in the whole chaos rating thing. If you captured a town, you'd lose points, which lower points on that 0 to 100 I talked about was more chaos aligned, and higher points was law aligned. Garrison effects. Interesting. This is already feeling like an evolution of... Excuse me? God, I can't talk for a bit without sneezing. This is feeling already like an evolution of Ogre Battle, which I am very happy to see.
We march.
But now I'm curious. Ooh! Oh! So I can tell him to go, like, there. But I can't seemingly tell him to go somewhere other than, like, a targeted location. Aw, boo. I don't know, maybe that'll change.
To me. Come then.
I like that you could apparently... Oh, can you not move them, though? Detail stats. Okay, whatever. I was seeing if I can move them. That'd be kind of interesting. So in Ogre Battle games, the direction that you encountered an enemy in actually mattered. Encountering them from the sides or the back, or if they encountered you from the sides or the back, would cause... the orientation of your units would change to reflect that you'd been attacked from the side. So if in one of those games, if I'd attacked this enemy unit from the side, instead of one guy being in front and one guy behind him, they'd both just be middle center, with nothing, side by side. So it was actually, like, important to occasionally juke enemy units to get them from sides so that their units' positions would not be as meaningful, because, of course, as I said earlier, where characters were placed on the grid in those games dictated what they did in battle. Battles play automatically according to various predetermined rules. Yep. Combatant's initiative determines movement order. That was not a thing, as I mentioned, in Ogre Battle, but I'm glad the way they've implemented it. Because it does feel like a proper... It feels like that's what Ogre Battle would have ended up doing eventually. So there's actually an AP system for how many actions they take. That's interesting. I'm presuming it's represented by those gems there. That was not the case in Ogre Battle. In Ogre Battle, it was just... if that thing about where they're placed in the grid dictates what they do in battle, it also dictated how many times they performed actions in battle. So it could be, there could be a trade-off of like, oh, if I put the swordsman in the front, they'll attack twice with like a normal attack, but if I put them in the middle or the back, they'll do like a special, sword magic or something, but they'll only have one action in that combat. Ooh. Oh, okay. So the red gems are AP and the blue gems are PP. that do different things. That's interesting.
See now.
Yeah, that's adding a lot more complexity to, like, the unit makeup and what they do in battle. I like it. The enemy's parting blow skill triggers at the end of battle, performing an additional attack. Oh! Interesting. So AP is used up because the character performs like an aggressive, or well, performs an active action, I guess, or it's triggered by it being their turn in battle, whereas the passive ones are triggered by non-turn order based conditions. Neat. Oh, the whole reason I even brought up 13 Sentinels was the female character design in that was subdued a lot for Vanillaware. There was only one jiggly big titty lady in that one. And a lot, and even when like the first trailer for that game came out, fans of Vanillaware were having a laugh about, holy shit, the characters have like normal human proportions. They do here too, admittedly, but we're already seeing a lot of boobiness going on. If neither unit is defeated in battle, the side of lower HP remaining is the loser. They get knocked back. They enter a waiting state. Oh, interesting. So that being rendered immobile thing, that wasn't quite a thing in Ogre Battle, but it was kind of a thing because they'd get shoved back and the game would be like, you know, it took them a moment to start moving again. Not in a like defined way like this, but you know, this is how Ogre Battle worked when the fight was over. If one side wasn't completely wiped out, then the loser side would get shoved away like that. Man, I still wish you could... Again, maybe you can eventually, or maybe you can in the full game, and they just... Oh, engaging a waiting enemy causes a first strike. Interesting. So it doesn't do anything about the, like, position of the units, but... As I presumably we just kind of get to go for free. But the real question I have then is there an alignment system in this game like there was in the Ogre Battle games? Because completely wiping out enemy units would decrease your chaos value, making you a more chaotic alignment. Because it was seen as tyrannical. If you could just take out an enemy unit's leader, the unit would then not actually intentionally engage in combat anymore. They'd run away from you, in fact. So, completely wiping out enemy units was seen as barbaric by the game's logic.
We march.
Gain 2 stamina first time only.
To me. For the liberation.
Okay, yeah. Liberating gives a full Valor point, whereas defeating that enemy unit only gave us half a bar. Liberating facilities will replenish Valor points and boost your score upon completing the stage. Additionally, facilities that have been liberated will serve as bases from which allied units can be deployed. Yep, that was true in Ogre Battle. What seems to be different, at least so far, maybe this will change in the full game or later on, is it's implying to me here that all you do is liberate towns. In Ogre Battle, you would liberate or capture towns. This was dictated by the alignment of the town and the alignment of the unit that made it onto the town. Ooh! Okay, hold on. Or is it just going to force me to move him there? But oh, come on. Again, this feels like maybe it's just teaching me this, and eventually we'll be able to move anywhere we want on the map. Yeah, so if you sent a unit that was out of the town's alignment, it would count as a capture, not a liberation. And then capturing would lower the player's chaos rating. So you had to be you actually needed to keep some diversity of unit alignments in your army, because there were going to be chaos aligned towns but you still wanted to liberate them for the overall better alignment rating for the player.
Yes, sir. You don't stand a chance.
Kind of weird that they're forcing Lex to go fight alone. I do like how he comes jumping in. But he can only guard once per round. Parting blow. Dude! Yeah. What did the game think was gonna happen? I mean, this must be just part of learning. Might have gotten too eager there. But yeah, like, balancing your alignment in Ogre Battle, at least in Ogre Battle 64, was very hard. Even when... so on my very first playthrough, I got a fucking 0. Like, the maximum chaos rating. Like, maximum, chaos alignment in my very first playthrough of that game. And then the second time I played the game, where I was actively trying to, keep my alignment high, I got a 50 out of 100 and got the neutral ending. So I've seen the game's, quote, bad ending, unquote, and the game's good ending, neutral ending. But I've never seen the game's best ending. The next time I ever play that game, I'm going to go super, super hard on getting the 100 perfect score. So something in... Oh, this is also forcing us to use a Valor point again. Which is...
In service of the royal family.
It moved him out onto the street, but I don't know if that's...
I'll not fail you.
Okay, so is this gonna, like, make the units combine? Okay, no, but they can swap. Interesting.
Gaze upon the face.
It's not looking great.
Yeah, if I try to let Lex go, we'll fail the tutorial. That's cool, though, that you can have units protect each other like that. Like whole squads, I mean, as opposed to individual units. Individual units protecting each other during battles was already a thing. Not quite to the extent that we saw earlier, where, like, Hodrick would jump in front of other units during that prologue fight. But you could put Phalanx units, the Tower Shield guys, like, in the front, and they could stop things that other units couldn't stop from going past them. There was actually a boss in the N64 game that was a Gorgon, like a Lamia, that could petrify your team. And the best way to fight her, like the most directly smart way to fight her, was to put a Phalanx unit, 3 of them, or 2, depending on how you oriented the rest of the unit, in the groups that were fighting her, because the Phalanx units, when she would go to petrify your unit, your team, they would just hunker the shields and block the like eye laser.
I've got to make this work.
Oh, talking shit. I wonder, in the full game, would we be able to take Lex and put him into Elaine's unit? Because you could do that in, like, the N64 game and the Super Nintendo game. You could take named characters and put them into each other's squads. Oh yeah, he's commenting on it being Hodrick. Emperor Galerius. Wait, is that Valmor, or did Valmor have somebody else become Emperor? Nice. That was something you could not do in the Ogre Battle games, is you couldn't select multiple units. Yep. Oh, and the game's paused, and if I undo that, yeah, we get the time limit. Yep, and time passed in real time in Ogre Battle games, too.
The time is at hand.
There we go. So if we do this... Just go. And then unpause. Oh, yeah, look at that. Joseph. Because he's on horseback and he's a way faster unit. And he's going to take 1 damage. Nice. Oh, I wonder how many things from Ogre Battle will be carried over into this. Because one of my favorite things in Ogre Battle 64, I think it was in... Was it in the Super Nintendo game? I can't remember. I need to play March of the Black Queen at some point, like all the way through. I've only played it like a little bit.
Very well. Awaiting
Oops.
your command.
There we go. What was I trying to say there? Right. One of the things you could do is if you put 2 like aggressive spellcasters, so like black mages for want of a better term, in the same row together in a squad, and their like affinity, right, which affinity worked more so by just being like if their alignments were close to each other for the most part. I don't remember if there was like actual individual affinity stats. There might have been. It's been a while since I played the game, but if you put 2 spellcasters in the same row together. Okay, let's get you 2 into battle here.
You got it.
I shall hope.
You face me.
Oh, wow.
Gaze
Yeah, look at that. Joseph just slaughters the shit out of the enemy, but I want the other units in this demo to get experience. That... See, that's the worst time she could have used that. But that's kind of the thing, is like... Oh, shit. Can I change her position in the team? Because I don't want her getting hit at the same time. Oh, I also just noticed the handhold symbol appeared at the end of that fight. So, there's at least an affinity system in this game. Uh-oh.
We march.
Do I have any more? Okay, I do. But now the question is... Cancel movement, valor skills, rest.
You face me.
And we won't take any damage because she'll heal it. I was hoping I could change the unit formation. You couldn't do that mid-battle stage in Ogre Battle games, so... And I mean, that to some degree, that kind of makes sense. At least from a gameplay perspective.
The time is at hand. To me.
God, Joseph just goes flying in there.
This struggle will only prolong the pain. Accept the mercy of a swift demise.
I fail to understand, Hodrick. What has motivated this shift in allegiance?
Joseph, Cornea's most decorated knight. I shall close the book on your tale myself.
No answer.
Not today.
Not today.
I have you. The battle is won.
He technically still loses because he has less HP than Hodrick, I'm guessing. Because it's not based... Actually, I think in the Ogre Battle games it was based on how much damage was dealt between the two teams. And not who had the most health remaining, which was kind of funny because then there were situations where you were considered having lost the fight, even though you wiped out like most of the enemy unit and none of your units died, but like technically they did statistically more damage. There was a fast forward function in the Ogre Battle games too, or at least in the N64 game. You might notice I have more experience playing the N64 game, as I've said. But the Super Nintendo game, honestly, was pretty much just as complex and capable, with like the real-time map movement, units encountering each other from different angles. You know, everything I've described is like it's in the original Super Nintendo game. Oh, yeah, that worked. That did some fucking damage. Oh, they're getting shoved back because he's just the boss. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, here, you know what? Stop movement. Lex, you suck. Just stay there. Let's have the... Let's have the main character win the day. And prove to Joseph that he is capable or something. I don't know. Blam! More so prove to Joseph that having magic wielders in your team is a really good idea. Oh, hey. I will keep that in mind for when the game comes out. God. The just huge amount of painted, detailed movement and sprite work and whatnot in Vanillaware games is just fucking amazing. Their games are... It's no surprise to me that smaller studios out there like try to make their own versions of it, because it is so pretty.
You've fallen far indeed,
Ooh.
How many times did you stare death in the face at Her Majesty's side? Now, look what you've become. I may stand as your swordmaster no longer, but I can yet offer you a merciful end to your descent. Wait. Your Highness.
Tell me, Hodrick, do you remember the times you and I played together? When I was still just a boy? Yours was a bond of loyalty few knights could hope to equal. Why cast that aside and bend the knee to Galerius? I refuse to cut down a friend without first knowing how we've reached this grim conclusion. A simple reason is all I ask. Please.
Ooh.
Elaine!
The ring.
What sorcery is this?
Oh, my head. What am I doing here?
So the villains have bewitching magic.
A spell to shackle the hearts of men.
'Tis the only way I can think to describe it, my prince. That ill-fated day, all the lords closest to your mother turned upon her without so much as a moment's notice. Unfortunately, my memories end there as
Interesting.
well.
That would explain why he kind of wasn't saying anything personal the whole time.
This spell of control, it could be called. Such magic would go far in explaining.
Oh, and they spell magic with a C and a K.
Brought Everett to its knees.
I shudder to think what unspeakable evil I wrought upon our world these last 10 years. Though there is no greater misdeed than turning my spear upon you, Prince Elaine.
That's enough.
Maybe Hodrick's not a generic unit sprite.
I wonder,
Maybe that is unique.
how is this ring?
I was thinking it was a generic one for the, just because they needed to fill out the queen's
I
troop.
had believed it to be mere regalia, a symbol of your birthright and nothing more. To think the power of cleansing truly exists. Your Highness, that is the ring of the unicorn, ancestral treasure of Cornia's royal lineage. Legend speaks of your ancestors wielding it to purify evil, but I had believed such tales to be mere fiction.
The Orthodoxy has a similar story about the Holy Unicorn. How it was a sacred beast able to purge darkness from our lands. It's entirely possible that the ring that bears its image is somehow capable of that same power.
Boy, there sure is story happening right now, isn't there?
On a foul sorcery that fetters our people. Then this ring is the ray of light that will pierce its wicked
I'm
heart.
going to take a wild stab that once this is over,
True, my prince.
that'll be the end of the demo, but we'll see.
Were we able to free those bound by his cruel magics?
It might just bring the iron wall of
I will say
down.
the voice acting is good. Vanillaware games have always had good voice acting, so...
Plagued with doubt. Is it justice that guides our march, or paltry vendetta? Yet the answer is clear as day now. The path before us is laid bare, and all that remains now is to walk it. Walk it I will, Mother.
This sword is my mom. No, wait.
Today marks our first foray into the mists of despair which hang heavy over our home. Mists that will soon be dispelled. It may take days, months, or even years, but I shall see
I do wonder
the bloodline fulfilled.
how long it will take in the story. It'd be kind of cool, honestly, if the game took place over many years. I feel like that's not something you see often enough in these, like, you know, epic storyline games. And it's like,
Well, all things considered,
you manage to
any fog
save the world in like a few months.
cleared, and he stands ready to fight once more. By the way, Your Highness, allow me to brief you on our plans for when we arrive.
Yes,
Among
do
the
that.
Federation members
Don't know how I didn't already know what these plans were before we got on the boat.
skilled knight by the name of Clive.
Uh,
I'll ride to bring him to you the moment we reach solid ground.
You have my
Gotta get us some named units, you know, up front at the beginning of the game.
A word,
Jesus
Elaine?
goddamn fuck. Every time she walks around. Vanillaware.
No, it's nothing.
Are you sure? Anxiety will be the death of you if you keep it bottled up like that.
It really isn't important.
That's okay. My bottles are very big.
It's just our lives have changed so drastically from the peace we had only yesterday. It barely seems real.
I mean, but did you actually have peace?
Different. But I've always known this day would come. It's why I've spent all these years training under Joseph's careful instruction. A shame you never had the chance to meet my mother. She was always one to blaze a path forward, royal blade in arm. But as her heir, I intend to lead in much the same way.
Is that why you and Lex spent all your days banging swords down at the shore?
Seen that?
Oh god, that just sounds like innuendo.
Podrick was likely but one of many.
I saw you two banging swords down on the shore.
Being controlled as he was. We might just stand a chance in this.
That interrupted my train of thought. I was going to start commenting about how I like to see... I was going to say, like, I wonder what's up with his dad, you know, who would presumably be the king. But it's nice to see one of these stories done with
Reclaim peace
a
for
queen, you know, and a mother figure as that, you know, that original figurehead,
I'll do everything I
you
can.
know, that the main character is heir to and all that stuff.
Hey, don't forget about me.
Lex,
What?
I'm sorry, my prince. Decorum doesn't come naturally to this fool.
Aren't they, like, friends? Elaine knows that.
There's no reason to let formality bind us.
Yeah, there we go.
But there are protocols to observe. Rules we must follow as vassals in service of the crown.
No, I think you just need to calm down, Chloe.
Mind. What mind he has, that is. I'll give my all in the royal name, your majesty.
Thank you all. I couldn't ask for a finer group of friends.
I could ask for a finer group of combatants, though. Uh-oh. Save. I guess I'll save, but I don't see myself using this save data when the full game comes out or anything. Now the question is... Oh. Is there more demo? A difficulty focused around enjoyment of the story, focused around tactical gameplay for players familiar with strategy games, and a difficulty focused around pushing your tactical mind to its limits for players who are quite skilled at strategy games. Well, I'm actually going to go ahead and stop there. We saw what we needed to saw, and I commented on what I needed to comment on for this demo. I suppose if anybody watches this and wants to see more, assuming there is actually more after this difficulty selection, you can say so in the comments. And I can blather on about Ogre Battle some more. Otherwise, y'all have fun now. Bye.